Turning now to your second community focus of the day. Come Monday, Providence will have a brand new mayor for the first time in 8 years. But today, we're joined for the last time in his official capacity by Mayor Jorge Elorza. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me, as always.
So you did this terrific, in-depth and lengthy exit interview with my colleague, Steph Machado. I encourage people to go and watch that right now on WPRI.com or listen to the Pulse of Providence podcast. We're just going to skim the surface here today. But one of the things I was most shocked by in that interview was you saying that you will not be sending your son to the Providence public school system. So I guess with that in mind, do you see yourself even staying in Providence? Oh
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. We're not going anywhere. I'm as committed to Providence as ever. But this is one of those situations where you know too much. The reality is that while there are a lot of great people, in fact most of the teachers in the school department are great. Two things. First of all, the problem is structural. It's not about individuals. It's really structural. And second, the chances that Omar in K through 12, those 13 years, will be assigned to a classroom with a teacher that is just not going to suit him and he could potentially lose a year, it's just too high. I mean,
what message, though, does that send, Mayor, to the people of Providence that you say, you know what, I'm not going to send my kid to the schools that your kids have to go to? I mean, what does that say?
You know, that's not just me. You know, the harsh reality is that thousands of families every year, they fill out the application for the charter school lotteries. And some lucky few get in, but there's so many that are left out. And so what this really means is, why don't we continue to expand these seats so that more and more of those families have the chance to have an opportunity like these high achieving charter schools. And remember, charter schools, they're public schools in every sense of the world, and in every sense of the word. They're just an alternative system, and one that is educating the exact same kids under the exact same circumstances, but the results they're getting are just blowing the roof over what we think is possible. So why not invest in what's working and what people want?
Yesterday here on 12 News at 4, we had Senate President Dominic Ruggiero in studio. He represents part of Providence. He's been fairly critical of your time as mayor, and he tells me that he thinks you could have done more in terms of economic development for the city. Is he wrong?
So we actually just put something out earlier today that looks at key accomplishments during my time. Over my 8 years, we've had more economic development in the city of Providence than perhaps at any 8-year period in the city's history, or at least modern history. So my record speaks for itself. He's upset because I did not support the Fein Tower. I was against the Fein Tower then. I'm against the Fein Tower now. I think it's a mistake for the city and for the state. Everyone who has looked at this project has said the same thing. It's just not viable.
Do you think the Fein Tower will ever actually be built?
No, I've said that from the beginning.
I want to talk to you about some major news that we learned this week. Both Commissioner Perry and Police Chief Hugh Clements will be leaving the Providence Public Safety Department. What kind of an impact do you think that's going to have on Providence?
It depends. I think it's really important when a new administration comes in to give them space to try new things and take the city in new and exciting directions. Change is good sometimes. With that said, I do want to say that I've had the great privilege of working with Commissioner Perry and Chief Clements for the past 8 years. You're not going to find two better professionals in law enforcement than the two of them. And I'm really proud to say that where we stand today, we're closing out the year with perhaps the safest year in terms of crime in Providence in modern history. We're talking about 40, 50 years. And it's because of leadership, the tone that they've set, and the rank and file that have just gone above and beyond. So I'm really proud of their leadership, and again, their record speaks for itself.
Providence Mayor Jorge Elorza for the final time here on 12 News at 4. Thanks so much for joining us over the years, and thanks for your service.
Thank you, Kim.